Hello, everybody, and welcome to Athletic Definition. My name is Coach Ray Z, and today my guest is Luke Brutus. Luke, this is your first time to Fireside. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Hey Ray, how's it going? Happy to be here.
Thank you for being here. And so, Luke is a basketball innovator. Me myself, I love basketball, but if you look at his Instagram, which I'll be putting up on the fortune cookie right now, he does all these original tricks, which is something not common, and we're definitely going to get into that. But I always like to, start from the beginning. Did you start playing basketball since you were young? Was that your passion?
Yeah, I could say that like ever since I was growing up, basketball was definitely my game. What sort of led me to do this is, I basically would play horse with my next door neighbor every single day, along with one on one. We'd play really rough. I'd always be taking contact, so I basically had to learn how to make shots a creative way, or else they weren't going to go in. And then, growing up, sports have been a large part of my life. I've always been into athletics. I did track in high school. I dabbled in basically a ton of different athletic activities, and over the years, I've never really gave up playing basketball, and that's sort of where it brought me today.
Okay, so did you get to play like in high school and maybe have a chance to play in college?
I did not even make my high school basketball teams, so there's a fact for you. But yeah, ever since even after high school and stuff, I've always played in leagues and really just kept up with the game. But being someone that I don't know, I'm never content just like shooting around or even in whatever I do, I always just want to take it to the next level. So I'd be the person that would be doing something ridiculous like shooting over the backboard or something, and then lo and behold, YouTube and all these other social media platforms appear, and there's my chance.
Yes, it's a perfect for you. It's like the right opportunity, right time, right place. And for anybody listening in or in the audience who wants to take a look at some of the trick shots I'm talking about, I went ahead and posted his Instagram on the fortune cookie. And I always think about when I see someone who can do those type of trick shots. I think of the Harlem Globetrotters. Did you ever consider trying out for them, or have they reached out to you?
They posted one of my videos once, but I went to a game when I was like 12 years old, so I have that as a nice fond memory there. But yeah, I've always just had fun, with basketball, and I'm actually in my mid 30s now, and I figured, with the ability to share your skills now, it's like you only live once. Why not just really take it to where, basically where it takes me? Because I've actually learned spinning the basketball from I believe his name's Kalani Ball Free. He's on Instagram and all different social media platforms. But I actually learned to spin a basketball on my finger when I was 30 years old. So I didn't really know half of the stuff I've been doing actually until later in life.
Oh wow, that makes it even more interesting. So I do tricks. I do what's called the cardistry. I don't practice it as much, but it's basically doing card tricks, but not like magic. Although I do some of those, and those are all very time consuming. So how much hours do you put into practicing?
Right now, I have a full time job, so what I'll do is every day I'll just block off like 30 minutes to an hour if possible, and I'll just try to fit that in with my schedule. But I've actually I saw and I've listened to your podcast already, and I was actually a pretty avid runner as well. But then like as of recently, I sort of just switched it up. But I've been sort of using that as my somewhat of my cardio right now to just keep moving around and stuff like that.
Running. You've been using running to keep up in cardio.
Oh, sorry. I just meant my basketball in general. Like, I'll be 30, to an hour a day playing basketball, but I sort of sub that in for my running, which, I was doing half marathons. I did three of those, and I was doing 5Ks regularly for like in my mid 20s.
Oh, very cool. And I guess before we move on from the Harlem Globetrotters, are you also an NBA fan? Because I heard that they're making a pitch to the NBA to bring them in as a team.
I did see that. Couldn't tell if it was a publicity stunt or not, but it seems pretty cool. I love all their content and seeing all the crazy stuff they do. But I'm actually watching the NBA draft right now. So being a Sixers fan, it's a little bit rough. And I just saw that. I'm guessing you're a Lakers fan, and I just saw they got Westbrook, so that's not looking good for the Sixers.
Well, I would like to see the Harlem Globetrotters make it because I know they have a lot of talented players and they goof around on purpose. So it'd be interesting to see what they could actually do against. I know they won't get blown out. And as
I
far
would
as
totally go for it. That'd be awesome.
yeah, and then as far as I am a Laker fan, but I'm also a Clipper fan. You know, growing up in LA, Laker tickets have always been expensive, so I would go to Clipper games because they were more affordable. And then to be honest with you, then when Jordan retired, I kind of stopped watching the game for a little bit, and then um, it seemed like every kid after Jordan retired just wanted to dunk, and the game kind of wasn't the same. And then a bunch of the Euro players started coming into the league, and they kind of just brought back shooting as well, kind of more fundamentals. So then the game became more balanced. I started watching it more, and now I'm just more of an NBA fan. I just like to watch good basketball.
Yeah, I think you're right about that with like dunking and stuff. Like in the 2000s and stuff. Like when I really was into watching the NBA first, like just seeing the dunk was the thing. And like at that time when I'd play, I mean, being not the most athletic guy on earth, like I always thought it was easier to just practice one of the skill shots, and that's sort of what led me to where I'm at right now. While other people would just be practicing jumping as high as they possibly can and dunking over somebody, but I still have aspirations to dunk, but on a little bit of a hiatus right now. I got a little bit of tendon issues, but I'm all good.
Well, I was going to mention that as well. I've never been able to dunk. I remember I used to be able to touch the bottom of the rim. I still have aspirations of dunking, so that's one of my goals as well. Have you ever been able to dunk before?
Yeah, actually, 2 years ago when I was 32 was the first time I ever dunked a basketball, and that's all due to the Ben Patrick ATG stuff. Really just getting like basically my body moving in like full ranges of motion, just gaining strength in a lot of the smaller muscles in my body that were just weak, and it really just opened my eyes to I guess what's possible like with age. It really just sort of took away some like preconceived notions that like of what limits I really had on myself, and that actually helped really move me where I'm going right now, where I'm really not afraid to try anything new or just get myself out there and really just basically explore my athletic abilities at any age.
So once you start the program, how long did it take you to actually be able to dunk?
Um, when I, actually prior to the program, I was like doing heavy squats and stuff like that, so that aided in my jumping. But when I was jumping, I basically felt like crap afterwards. Like I do these grueling squat workouts, and it got me close to where I needed to be. But just starting by adding in some of the like this the ATG split squat and some of these other like exercises that just really actually like gave you some range of motion at the same time, it suddenly like I was playing basketball outside and I felt like I was basically 10 years younger. I'm like, oh, my knees are supposed to hurt now. Why is that not happening right now? So it definitely opened my eyes. And then, yeah, I was dunking consistently for around a year and a half, but still being in my 30s and, with a probably a bro mentality of just, go balls to the walls at all moments. Instead of taking it slow, I tried every single one of experimental exercise I could possibly fit into one day, and I ended up hurting the tendons behind my knee a little bit. It's nothing serious, but it just made me sort of realize that it's steady progress is a lot better than trying to gain everything possible and then actually getting injured.
What was the kind of craziest experimental workout you did or product you took?
Well, when Ben was creating a lot of the different exercises, everything obviously scales and it progresses forward. And I didn't progress. I just tried, the hardest one possible before I was ready for it. So,
Oh, I see.
instead of doing things in the manner they were supposed to be done, and I just, I let my ego get in front of me, and then it caused me to pay.
So I'm going to give a little insight to the audience and anyone listening in. Basically, I met Luke through he's a student as well as I am of ATG, which is part of the knees over toes, and Keegan, which is I would say it's interesting that it's 2021 and a lot of these exercises have been around or but they just lost popularity for a reason or another. But these are basic exercises that make you feel younger, like you were saying. I play basketball against my son and my nephew, and I played like 4 hours against them. And after not playing for a while, due to COVID, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, I feel good. I don't feel like I normally feel, especially after not playing for so long. So to me, it is a great system. I actually, because of the system, I think that I can dunk and will be able to dunk one day because when I first started doing it, I got excited and I kind of probably went a little too hard, and I did feel like tendons flare up. Um, but then I kind of took a couple of days off, and I'm like, I got to start from the beginning because I'm not that strong. So it's worked out for me. Now it's just about actually uh, recording and uh, tracking everything so I can prove it's working. Although I think the most important thing is just to say, hey, when I wake up in the morning, I feel good.
Yeah, that's that's a definite plus there because I've always had a I don't know, a work ethic of, just push as hard as you could, try your best, which I still do, but it would be at the expense of my body sometimes where I wouldn't listen to the cues my body was giving me. Yeah, the no pain, no gain attitude. And I would just, push right through until I actually did just cause an injury. And now I think I finally learned that after 34 years of life. So I'm happy to be there right now and to really actually think being progress forward where I want to be headed.
And so, with your basketball tricks, is that something you just do for fun? Do you have aspirations of taking it somewhere? Or, I always see people come into like during basketball games, like, and they do like trick shots, basically. Has anyone reached out to you for that?
No one has reached out to me really specifically on actually events yet, but I really do want to take it to somewhere where I can profit off of it. I mean, over the next year, I really just want to hone in my skills and just practice every day so that I can actually, reproduce a lot of these things on command. I could do most of the tricks you see in the videos. I don't know. Some of them take enough takes to do, and you'll be able to tell just by, some of the shots. But I've really tried to make it more of a skill than just, some fun thing I do on the side. And I'm really trying to, yeah, incorporate just coordination skills and stuff like that into coaching as well because I mean in general I'm passionate about coordination. I taught myself handstands in the last few years. I taught myself you know what the slack line is?
No, I don't think.
It's basically like a tightrope. Climbers I think originally did
Oh,
it.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, but it's between two trees. I taught myself that. Obviously, you could see I taught myself juggling, but all of those type of things, I feel like they definitely lead to success in other areas of sports. And if not all of them, obviously, I mean, some of the stuff is gimmicky, but I think that some of the hand-eye coordination you learn from some of these skills definitely translates to success in other sports, and it's not always being utilized. And that's what I like to have fun with.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. So, were these all hobbies you picked up during COVID?
They weren't all during COVID. I mean, during COVID, I was able to actually hone my skills actually better because the basketball courts, most of them had the hoops taken off, but there's a couple hoops that were near churches nearby that there was no one near it. Social distancing was at the max, so I would never have to fight for a spot to shoot around. So and sometimes it actually helped out, but I'd say over the last 5 years, I've really actually focused on a lot of those hobbies and just taken them to a new spot and really just enjoyed them.
And I know I think you said it's maybe like 9-ish where you're at. Are you in the East Coast? Are you in Canada?
I am about an hour outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. All right. And so, how is it like playing basketball in the wintertime over there? Is it pretty full of snow, I imagine?
Yeah, yeah, it gets rough. This year, I actually the one day the Red Bull was having a contest for a trick shot contest, and I actually had to shovel snow to be able to shoot basketball. We got pummeled with like 3 feet one of the storms this winter, so there was a couple nice storms, but yeah, this year as I really was starting to take it more seriously, it also man I had to shovel more. So yeah, it's definitely a factor.
Oh, okay. So how did you do in the Red Bull competition?
I
Or
actually was one of the winners. They picked four, I think there was four overall, and I won. So yeah, that was fun.
and what do you get for that? By any chance, if you don't mind sharing?
If Red Bull's listening to this, I never actually got my prize delivered to me, but I was supposed to get two cases of Red Bull, I think a basketball and a jersey. But it's probably good they didn't send me two cases of Red Bull because that's my heart probably couldn't take it.
Yes, although as far as Red Bull, the events, they host some very cool events that are different and that normally wouldn't get any sort of limelight. Like they have a very cool I think I think I've seen surfing competitions, and then for sure I've seen DJ competitions, I've seen breakdancing competitions.
Oh yeah, I don't want to knock Red Bull because they do definitely have a lot of cool contests. Right near where I live, actually in Manayunk, PA, right outside of Philly, they have a yearly I don't know what the contest is called, but it's a downhill race with like these cars that like you just make by yourself, and there's some crazy crashes, but it's super fun to watch, and just seeing like the creativity these people get to like make these different vehicles and stuff. It's really cool to see. But yeah, I've seen that and other types of like 3-on-3 basketball contests. You name it, they got it.
And then since you did mention, you know, you're into coordination, and I believe you are a coordination coach. What would how would that differ, say, compared to like a personal trainer, which more it's a more common term that people would be familiar with?
Yeah, like a personal trainer. I mean, like in terms of like sports training or something where someone's like specialized for the sport at hand. Like if I want to teach somebody coordination, like I wouldn't be as it would be more of a general practices. It wouldn't be like I'm trying to just always teach them, say, basketball per se. Just learning how to juggle three regular lacrosse balls, or I don't know if you've ever seen some of those reaction balls you could throw on the ground and quickly like move your hands to catch them. A lot of the tools, even like that slack line itself, they're all just different types of activities that incorporate strength and balance and different modalities to really just up your hand-eye coordination, keep your overall balance in check. And I could see in my own life, especially being someone that's over 30. Once when I play 5-on-5 now, I notice some improvements in my game that I wouldn't think would be happening at this stage in life. Like for instance, if I was guarding somebody one-on-one, I was never somebody that would just swipe the ball and steal it from you, but I seem to have that ability now. So that's I could only attribute that to the practices I've been doing.
Yes, I still feel that people can improve as they get older, um, and it's not going to be just one thing. It typically is more than just one modality because, I mean, if we're going to be honest, if you say, "Hey, well, I want to lose weight," it's not going to be just like, "Oh, well, go do this one exercise." It's going to be like your diet, what you, how much you exercise, what you eat, how much stress you have. There's a lot of things that go. How much sleep you get. Um, how much you drink alcohol. So a lot of things go into it. It's not just one thing.
Yeah, exactly. A ton of factors go into it, but yeah, you're right on that one.
And when you play 5-on-5, is this just at a local park, or do you play in a like a league?
I played in a few leagues over the last couple of years, but I have a group of guys that are all around my age, and every Wednesday we've been playing for a long time. COVID knocked it out for a little bit, but we're back at it again, and we got three-on-three last week. We're up in the ranks and trying to get fives again this week on.
Oh, that's very cool. Me and my friends kind of do the same thing too. COVID kind of ruined it for a while, but yeah, we've been playing every Saturday morning around 8 o'clock for I don't know 15 years. So it's pretty nice now. It's to the point where we have like a you know it's fathers and sons and like their friends, and it's a good mix of youth and veteranship.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I have a 5-year-old son right now, so I'm a little bit off from that, but he's already pretty tall, so I'm getting a little bit nervous as he gets older. Time will come and he'll take over.
Now, does he try to dribble the basketball because he sees you, or do handstands?
Yeah, he'll do like he'll basically only copy the more ridiculous things. Like if he throws me a ball, he'll only want to throw the ball behind his back. So those type of things are definitely rubbing off on my kids. And when I play fives with my friends now, I just I'm pretty much made fun of always as the TikTok guy now. So there we go.
Okay. You know, I haven't checked out your TikTok. I've just seen your Instagram videos so far, but
It's the
I
same stuff.
okay. But is your following pretty large on TikTok?
No, it's really not that large. I didn't start it that long yet, but I'm hoping to get it there. We shall see.
Yeah, TikTok's weird and where it just goes viral and then it goes out of control on its own.
Yeah, I'm still trying to understand it. Actually my full time job is I manage a website and apps for a community college. So I'm sort of into that to begin with, just social media in general, just understanding that kind of how it works. And it's been fun the last couple of months just messing with that and trying to figure out like how that TikTok algorithm really works.
Okay. So since you're kind of in the business, I think you were hanging out a little bit in the green room back there. What do you think of Fireside so far?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, seeing a lot of different social media apps, and even just growing up with like something like a AOL chat room. I like this because it's like it just seems more authentic being actually able to like just talk one on one, have people in the room like that. My one coworker was telling me about another one. I believe it. What is it called? Starts with a C. I forget, but I looked into all these other apps then, and they were all Clubhouse. I think it was. But either way, I mean this framework seems pretty cool, and I definitely like it.
Yes, I know of all the other platforms, and I mean, they just keep coming out. They keep coming out. If I don't think most people have noticed when I show them on Facebook, I'm like, look, if you look on the left, there's a little audio chat section. They're like, what? So people aren't even paying attention to it, but it's everywhere. But for me, this is the best platform. And it's so easy. You were like, hey, I want to make sure everything goes smooth, and took a couple minutes, and then you could just have great conversation.
Yeah, totally. I was expecting it to be way harder, and then like you just clicked one link, and I'm like, oh, it's done. Okay, so yeah, pretty easy.
And so, also, if you want, I can share your your TikTok on the fortune cookie, so people can take a look at your videos. Luke is basically he does a trick basketball shots and different. I don't know. They're not just shots because you do. What would you call it?
Yeah, that's the. I think that's the hardest thing to explain, just because I'm like doing like a wide range of things, but it's like a combination of like juggling, like making layups, trick shots, even spinning the basketball. I mean, I guess in the USA, like I mean, freestyle basketball is sort of what it's called, but it's not exactly that. I've seen like overseas they'll do different type of competitions that like, but it'll involve more like music and like almost more like dance into it. Mine, there's definitely not dance in mine. That's not going to happen. But it's really just combination of juggling and basketball skills and just trying to make it into I don't know an art form, an act, whatever you want to call it.
So, I mean, some of those shots are pretty difficult. If you like say had to do an act, would you be able to pull off like a few of those shots, one after another, like different variety?
I would be able to if the ones that you watch when I'm like juggling and like just making layups in a row, like I can consistently like juggle and make shots at the same time. Like that's a definite skill I have honed down. It's just once I'm getting to like shooting like half court shots or stuff like that, I'm definitely not going to make a half court shot every time. But close to the rim, a lot of those shots I'm pretty consistent now.
Did you see the robot? I think they might have put him in a halftime show, and he can do free throw shots, and then they back him up, and he can shoot 3 pointers, and he doesn't miss, and then they put him in the half court, and he makes it. The only thing it takes him about 45 seconds to shoot it, so I would block the crap out of him by then. But I wasn't too impressed. I'm like, it takes him forever to get the shot up, but he won't miss.
I don't know, Ray. Are you just basically saying I'm about to be replaced by a machine? Because it seems like it.
I mean, it's coming.
It definitely is.
Why are they building basketball player robots? I'm like, come on.
Yeah, we're watching the draft now. Maybe in 10 years that it'll be a robot. Who knows?
Did maybe it was in in the Olympic games? Did you get a chance to see that shooting robot? It kind of went viral a little bit.
I actually missed the robot. No, I didn't. I didn't see it. Sounds cool though.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Just don't replace us.
Not yet, please.
And as far as coaching, is there anybody you prefer to coach? Kids, adults?
I mean, I'm up for coaching anybody. I've coached a wide range of things. Like I'm actually coaching my next door neighbor right now who is in seventh grade to teaching him how to just get a better vertical jump. But I've been teaching like diet advice and stuff like that as well. So I've done a whole wide range, from elderly to kids, and I basically have a good time with all of it.
Me, I prefer to coach like teenagers and above. Um, you have to have a lot of patience with kids, and it takes a certain personality to be good. And I know plenty of good kid coaches, and I'm like, you know, they're I could just tell they're like a different level with the way the kids respond to them, and that's great. That's we need people like that. But I think teenagers, they relate to me more. I think, and older people, I can communicate better with them.
Yeah, I do have more experience with teens and older as well. I mean, I coached actually. It was a rec league basketball team that was ninth to 12th grade for I believe 5 years out of college, and yeah, that was an interesting mix having kids. 14. One kid would be 5 feet tall, 90 pounds, and then you'd have a senior that was the starting linebacker on the high school football team, and trying to keep those games in check was always fun. But yeah, it was an awesome experience, and I would actually love to do it again.
So I know you work full time, and then you're a father. So what would you like to do in basketball? I know you're saying you would like to monetize it somehow, but would you prefer to do the coaching, or would you prefer to do more of like the entertainment side with the trick shots?
You know what? I'm really just trying to weigh my options right now. I mean, what I'm doing right now is over the next year, I'm really just trying to hone in my skills as much as possible because I mean, one, I would not mind, doing events and stuff like that and just, showing people what's actually possible with basketball, helping kids, just see that, anything's possible with practice. But at the same time, like I said before, I'm pretty passionate about just coordination and, training in general. And I think if I'm able to, build a skill set and a knowledge base, I'd really be able to just do both. And I would totally enjoy that.
That's awesome. There's no reason why you should cut out things that you're passionate about. That's what I think. People always tell me you need to niche down. You need to niche down, but you know, you're the first basketball person that I've had on the podcast, which is great. I like to have a variety of people because I play a variety of sports. So I've already had the blind surfing champion. I've had um,
I just listened to that one. That was awesome.
a triple jumper from Nigeria, Olympian, um, just a variety, jujitsu, and some people, well, why are you doing that? You niche down, but I do all those sports. I play those sports. I'm interested. I'm passionate about it, and you got to do something you're passionate about. And I don't believe that you have to kind of like a lot of people tell you, well, you need to focus on something, and I think you can. I feel and know you can do both. So good luck to you, and what type of coaching do you offer? Is it in person right now? Is it online?
Right now it's just in person. I mean, working full time right now, I don't want to branch out too hard, especially because I'm trying to really just build my skill set as well and just get as good as I can. But yeah, I would eventually, online anything like that would be a possibility for me.
Okay. So if anyone listening in right now or in the future, in the podcast, they get to hear it in the Philadelphia area. What part of Philadelphia are you in?
I'm actually it's Whitehall, PA, so it's like an hour outside of Philly.
Okay. So if anybody's there and is interested in some uh, strength coordination, well, strength training and coaching coordination, and just man, the juggling. I've tried it, not so good at it. Um, that tightrope, what's it called? It's like tight roping, but you can
It's
do it
called
on.
slack. It's called slackline. A lot of those, like I feel like the learning curve initially is pretty tough, but then
It
once you
was.
get it, it the next steps are easier. But yeah, juggling at first was super hard for me as well. It wasn't like it just came, to me instantly. But once I was able to juggle because I previously had skills in basketball, the combination of those two things translated pretty quickly for me.
So in Los Angeles, they have a thing called I'll give them a free plug. Might as well. I think it's called the Fit Expo, and you can go there, and it's a little bit of everything. It's a bunch of uh, competitions from like Muay Thai fighting to weightlifting, a lot of powerlifting, weightlifting, bodybuilding. Um, I've done the jiu-jitsu competitions there, and then they have booths where you just walk around, and they had that tightrope thing. I tried it there a few times. It was tough. And then from there, I went and tried the Ninja Warrior Wall. And then from there, I went and did the Army push up contest. And I just had a blast in there, but I was dead from just trying every single little toy in there. For me, it was like heaven. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to try it.
Yeah, using a lot of muscles you're not used to using, I guess. That'll wear you
Yes,
out.
because I've done a warp ball a few times, but this was the official Ninja Warrior one, and I hadn't done it for a while. So
Could
I
you get it?
no, I failed. I would love to go back now, and I think they are gonna. With COVID, everything had to stop, so I think they're gonna bring it back.
Yeah, I always wanted to try that. I'm actually my one friend who lives around here is in it. Logan Craiglow is I believe it's what his like fourth or fifth season, but he does American Ninja Warrior, and yeah, he's really in shape and super impressive.
Oh wait, so he's like reoccurring on the show?
Yeah, he's I don't know how far he got so far this season. I know he at least got to the second round, but he was a recurring player in it.
At one of the gyms I worked at, Obi, he was one of our members. My buddy, he made it on American Ninja Warrior, and when he started working out, like he he wasn't as strong, and then he just went at it, and maybe in about 2 years he qualified for it. I was impressed. Like I love to see that. That's part of the thing that I love about coaching and seeing people work out, just kind of seeing them develop and grow, and not just like strength wise, but like mentally and confidence and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of limits that they initially had before them were all just mental, and they just sort of just broke free from them, and now they're able to just realize that they could accomplish a lot more than they had originally thought.
Yes, I know. For me, the first time I ran a marathon, once I accomplished it, I was like, because there was a doubt. I really wasn't quite sure if I could do it, and that's why I did it, to take on that challenge. And once I completed it, I was like, it was a one and done thing for me at the time. But 54 marathons later, it turned out not to be. But at the time, I was like, wow, if I could do this, what else can I do? I didn't think I could do that, or I had doubt. It was such a good building block for confidence, and that's why I push working out so much. And I'm happy that you're one of the first ATG family members I get to bring on here, one of the many, so that people could just meet a bunch of different passionate coaches that are really interested about helping people and not just ripping them off. Because in today's social media, you know, they're just following people with six packs, which there's nothing wrong with that. But are you working out, or is that photoshopped? And so um,
Yep, all the camera angles, everything, going to make something look perfect when it truly isn't. But yeah, I agree.
and this is the beauty of Fireside and these type of uh, social media. And as this expands, you can really hear the person, if they believe in what they're talking about. If they're passionate. Like, you could come out here and tell me you're passionate about basketball, but if you're not really passionate about it, you wouldn't be able to carry on a conversation about it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, like you said about marathons, though, you ran three in a row then, back to back to back.
Yeah, so I did actually I just posted it today. So I ran like, I don't know, 20 marathons maybe without training. And when I mean without training, the first one I literally didn't train nothing. Um,
Like didn't run at all, just 26 to start.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I was depressed. I was kind of going through a divorce basically, and then I'm like, I need to do something that I've always wanted to do, which was LA Marathon. As a little kid, I seen it on TV. Didn't even know what 26.2 miles was. I just wanted to do it. And so then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I signed up. And then right away, people started like, you're going to do it. You're not going to do it. It was like 50-50 split. I even had family members bet against me. And people at work were like betting. So I was like, so then the day came and I ran it. And mile 16 came and I got cramps from the top of my waist to the very bottom of my Achilles ankle and on both legs. And I was like, oh, that's it. I'm done. And then I heard everybody like, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. And that pushed me through. And I couldn't walk right for a month after that. And after that, it was like, okay, like 8 months later, I'm like, I can't believe I'm that sore. I'm going to do it again. And I did it again, but maybe I ran here and there, but I didn't know how to properly train for it. And then it was kind of cool to go to different cities I had never been to. And then I would tell my friend, hey, let's go. And we would just party and drink beer the whole night before. So, like the first 20 to 25, they weren't serious. They were just kind of more like, hey, let's go to Vegas and run. All right, let's do it. You know?
Hey, those are still feats of mental toughness there. You weren't even training correctly and you just plowed through 26 miles. That's impressive.
Yeah. And then I kind of realized I'm like, well, I have some sort of talent. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I think it's really just more a high pain tolerance is what I realized because, through ATG, I realized how stiff I've been my whole life and tight. But because my pain tolerance is high, I never really noticed it. Like until I'm becoming more flexible and activating muscles, I'm like, oh, there it is. I'm like, I never knew
Yes.
that worked like that. And so, yeah, that part is so interesting because when I first reached out to, Ben, I told him, I was telling the ATG, people, I'm like, I want to get strong in my weak muscles because I knew running into the later miles, you know, I've worked at Bally Total Fitness, I've worked at LA Fitness, I've worked at uh, UFC gym, I've worked at I can't even think of the other one, and then an MMA gym. So I know strength training, works, but to a point, it doesn't seem to be helping those ligaments and tendons, you know, if you look at the NBA or the NFL, these guys are all solid in strength, and that's not what's being hurt or being injured every year. It's like ACL, it's some sort of ligament, it's some sort of Achilles. So that's what I've been working on. I feel the difference, and so in 2017, I decided to run a marathon, which was San Francisco Marathon, and then within 5 days, I competed at Jiu Jitsu World League. And there was no one in my age bracket. So they're like, we could give you your money back or you could drop down an age bracket and compete. So I did. And then I got second place in my age group. And I'm like, wow, if I could do that, I could run back to back marathons. So then, like 5 months later, I ran back to back marathons. And then the next year, I did it again. I'm like, well, if I could do back to back, I could do three in a row. So then I went for it. And, by this time it was like I wanted it to kind of be special, so I set it up so that my 50th marathon would be the Lake Tahoe Triple. So it was 48, 49, and 50. Was I ran a marathon Friday, Saturday, and Sunday around Lake Tahoe, basically in increments, in sections, and that was in 2019. I wanted to do it back to back. It was the toughest thing I've done to date, and then COVID hit, and this year I have the opportunity to go back, once again, Stride for Stride basically sponsored me. So thank you to them. And I've had them on the past show if you want to hear more about them and their great organization. And I'm going to use that because I have my times documented officially, clocked by them. and I'm going to use my training to ATG to see if I could go in there and shatter my previous times. And so I'm training for that right now to run the Lake Tahoe Triple once again in October.
That's awesome. Like in terms of how you feel running now versus like pre doing the ATG exercises, like is there like a definitive like difference right now? Like is there like specific like muscles or something that just like you definitely notice?
Oh yes, and you know I would say it's a lot of the Achilles and calves. It was always the lower part, and then I've got into barefoot training a lot too, or just even going for a walk. Take off your shoes, and I like to get my coffee in the morning, go to the park, walk barefoot, and then I do my backwards walking, and I have my coffee, and then I do my other workout. But I like to just do it barefoot. If you do weights, you have to be a lot more careful. But I've been getting into that, and I just feel that my feet overall are getting stronger, which is what I wanted to the weak parts, and then I can touch my toes now. I can almost do the palms to the floor, so I can feel that lengthening that Ben's always talking about, that strength through length. Um, but I could also see that I could still lengthen even more, which makes me think, what more athletic range or how much more better can I feel once I get there?
That basically mirrors a lot of things that have happened with me. Like feet were definitely an issue, and doing a lot of these exercises, like my feet definitely had a big difference in terms of barefoot running and stuff like that. Actually, when I was running probably like 10 years ago, I was using Vibram Five Fingers for a while, and they definitely were like it was helping me out, but I didn't really understand what I was doing as much back then. But now I definitely incorporate the barefoot into a lot of what I do. And yeah, touching my toes was always basically an impossibility. And now, finally being able to do that in my 30s, it just seems it just seems strange to me that like I could never do that my entire life. But yeah, just unlocking those ranges and just really allowing me to improve it just feels awesome right now.
Yes, I think a lot of people would think, "Oh, that's silly. You can't touch your toes." I'm like, "That's right." I'm like 50 some marathons, blue belt in jujitsu, do boxing here and there, play basketball once a week, and I couldn't touch my toes. So just like being physically active doesn't mean that you have strong ligaments or tendons, right? Or athletic range. So uh, I knew there was something missing, and I'm so glad I found it. I wish I would have found it in my younger years, so I could have had a chance to, who knows, compete, and who knows what could have happened. But I still think at this point I could definitely smash some records, and it'll be even better because they're going to be like, you shouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah, good luck. I'm excited to see what your times are. What's your best marathon time so far?
Sub 4, which means under 4 hours. But
Awesome.
for that, and I'm just kind of going. Oh, actually, no, I have it here on my notes. Which when I look back on the times, I was a little bit surprised at the times I got. So now, the first day it was called the Lakeside Marathon, and I ran it in 5 hours, 34 minutes, 13 seconds. And then the second day was the Cal Nevada Marathon, and you basically run from California to Nevada, which is pretty cool. And that one I did it in 5 hours, 19 minutes, 33 seconds. And then the last day, it's called the Lake Tahoe Marathon, and I did that in 5 hours, 19 minutes, and 1 second. So each day I actually improved, and on the last one, it was by 30 seconds. And I feel that I'm on great pace to break that. The only uh, obstacle is I have not been able to get in elevation training thus far compared to when I did in 2019. Um, but I didn't do ATG in 2019, so I still think I'll probably be able to get maybe 1 month of elevation training before it actually happens, and I'm good. That's gonna have to be good enough.
Like by elevation, do you mean like higher altitude, or do you mean like running like up elevation?
Both, because I live in Southern California. Lake Tahoe's in northern, uh,
Hmm.
and so the elevation was up like from 7,000, 9,000. And then besides that, it's the breathing. I got there on a Thursday, and the marathon was Friday. And I would say, like, for most of it, I was like dry heaving. Like, I felt like I wanted to drive heat, but it was just like my body trying to get oxygen. And
Oh,
then,
okay, so there's a definitive difference with the air there.
yeah, and then the next day, it was like half of the marathon. I felt like that, and then by the third day, I felt like I could just breathe better, you know, and because I could breathe better, I was able to push exactly the same pace, I guess. And then always at the end, I'm going to try and finish strong. So I think that's how I beat it by a few seconds, which I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting to do better each day. I definitely feel that just getting acclimated to the breathing. So before I go, I definitely got to work on some good breathing techniques. We actually went over, I think, what, 3 weeks ago. I don't know if you went to that class,
I,
but
I missed that ATG call.
yeah, the good thing it's on video. I need to go back to that because I messed around a little bit with the Wim Hof method. Um, I don't know if you've ever tried any of that.
I did some of the actual. I did cold weather runs where I would just run like outside, like basically without a shirt on, with when it was like sub below zero. I did some of the breathing, but I didn't get too deep into it. But yeah, I did dabble in some of his stuff.
Oh, that's right. So, have you always lived in Philadelphia? Or you're kind of more used to the cold than over here in sunny California.
Yeah, I got a little bit of advantage for on that area with the cold over here. But yeah, but I've been doing that for a bit now. The last couple, I would say not couple, like probably 5 years. I've been going on and off with just trying to incorporate that in. But you can only do as much as how cold it is outside. But I like
Well,
it.
what's the because for me, and that was the coldest I've ever done anything in like that. It was like I think 15 degrees, and to me that was freezing. I was like, I'm not going to do this after all. It's too cold. I was telling myself that, having a panic attack, but to me that was freezing.
Yeah, I don't know, like below freezing here. Like I don't know, there's been a couple days where it was like probably like 10 degrees or like less than that, and I wasn't going for like a full like marathon run or something. So that is a different story. But actually, the worst one I was in is I did the Tough Mudder in 2012, and it was unseasonably cold. I believe it was right at the freezing mark, and the first obstacle they had was just it was a dumpster filled with ice water, and you had to swim underneath this one obstacle in it and come out the other side. And I don't think I've ever felt that kind of shock in my life coming out of water when it was already freezing outside, just having to still run 10 miles after that. But yeah, it was a shock to the system.
Since you mentioned Tough Mudder, have you ever done a Spartan?
I didn't do the Spartan. I did the Warrior dashes right when they came out. I actually had a great time doing the first one. I think it was the second time they ever had one of those Warrior dashes. It was very unorganized, but at the same time, the chaotic nature of it made it really fun. And yeah, I think the Tough Mudder I did in 2012 or 13 when it was still pretty early on as well. But yeah, I'll probably eventually get one of the Spartan ones done. I think don't those have like 3 tiers or something you could do?
I've never actually done any of those. I want to. They just look like a lot of fun, and I saw Tough Mudder and Spartan were teaming up for a one time only combination race somewhere like in the East Coast, and the original creator of Spartan. The real race is called the Death Race, and it's like some 24-hour ultra race where they don't let you sleep, and then they throw you out into the snow, and then your race begins. And most people won't do that. So he actually came up with the Spartan race for the average person that kind of like want to get excited about working out, and it caught on, and now it's huge. But that his whole reason for creating the Spartan race was to get the Death Race popular.
Yeah, it was. I remember when those first came out. I got some random email. I don't even know how I found it, but like it was before they really caught on, and within like a 2 3 year period, they just exploded. That they're everywhere. I was in a. There was also a locally. I believe it was in like right outside of like I think it was in Maryland. They had it was the Great Bull Run, but they just released bulls out of cages, and they had like a chute that they ran them through, and I did that probably 5 years ago. That was pretty fun. Not the smartest thing, but it's not surprising they don't do it anymore.
Oh wow, they actually did that here in the United States.
Yeah, it was in the United States. It was just like they ran like I believe it was like heats of like 10 bulls at a time, and there was like I think it was like 40 to 50 people in this like I don't know like quarter to a half mile shoot, and like there was little enclaves you could go on the side to like move out of the way. But thinking back, that wasn't the best idea to do, but at the time I thought it was a great idea.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like something I would do when I was younger. Um, I, just I wouldn't do that now at this point. But Luke, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show, and for everyone listening in. If they're in the Philadelphia area and want to link up with Luke, who is a great coach, go ahead and check out his Instagram that I put on the fortune cookie. He does a lot of cool juggling trick shots. I would say very on the Harlem Globetrotter level. And so, if anyone's interested on that as well, how can people reach you?
Yeah, you can message me on Instagram. It's Luke Academics, or I have a TikTok account. It's Layup Luke. And yeah, those are really the two methods right now that I got.
Great, and I'm looking forward to seeing your journey too in the ATG, seeing you get back to dunking and being able to incorporate that into your trick shots.
Yeah, same here. Can't wait to get back dunking, and I really appreciate you having me on here, Ray.
Oh, no problem. And then as video goes on, I would definitely love to have you back on so people could actually see some of these cool trick shots you do.
Yeah, I'd love it.
All right. Well, and thank you everybody for listening in and joining. My name is Coach Ray Z, and you can find me on all my social media with the same name. It's Coach Ray Z, even my website, coachrayz.com. So thank you for joining in Athletic Definition.